Brew?
That was a perfect answer. You love that answer.
I just feel like I see that 5 times a year. I mean, really.
Your grade.
Well, it's the easiest grade I've ever given. I'll tell you that, all right? But before I get to it, I would be remiss. I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, yes, I forget.
I'm from Louisiana.
You're from so many places.
Broussard is like Smith down in Louisiana.
We've heard that.
So I have to give a shout out to the Saints, 2-0. And I did say last week, Derek Carr. When I said Derek Carr is balling, coach, these two looked at me like I had horns going in my head.
About
okay, maybe it was just you and Jennings.
It was me and Greg.
All right. Yeah. So last 6 games by Derek Carr. Last 6 games.
Yeah. What?
He's they're 5-1. He's got 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 129.9 passer rating. And they beat Dallas, Tampa Bay, and Atlanta. So some good teams. And barely lost to the Rams when the Rams were cooking. So I just wanted to shout out the Bayou. All right, now, the Cowboys to the grade. We all know they like to talk about the Super Bowl. And please, the Cowboys, I don't want to hear those 2 words, Super Bowl, from you guys the rest of the regular season.
Impossible.
Can we agree to that? Not a player, not a coach, not an executive, not an owner. Don't mention it until January.
0 chance, bro. Mike is pod.
That's just my advice. If you want to keep getting waxed, then ignore it. All right, that said, you like to talk about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is going to be in New Orleans this year on Fox. We will be there. And the Cowboys won't be there. But yesterday, they did play the team from New Orleans. So I figured, what better way than to give them the grade than to do it who dat style? Brothers, let's do it. Yeah, baby.
We have such a dumb show. I mean,
in Louisiana,
that's
baby.
really good, bro.
So Bruce giving them an F.
Oh, yeah. Thank God, by the way, and we'll get to it later, Trevor didn't play great because I don't know if the show could have handled the breakdancers, a marching band, and the Royal Trumpeteers.
We may never see the Royal Trumpeteers. That's another
my
story.
favorite group that we've
I mean, they were outstanding.
They were great.
They were
great. It just to add one other point to the Saints part of it, Alvin Kamara, 10 touchdowns the previous 2 years. 2 years. Had 4 yesterday. And so here's my biggest concern for Dallas. It's twofold. One is the one thing we were supposed to be able to rely on the Cowboys on was at home in the regular season, they're awesome.
Yep.
And I'm not going to overreact and say the Packer game broke them. But what I am going to say is the last 2 home games, one was the Packer playoff game. All right, so 0-2. Getting blasted by 20, giving up 46 a game. The previous 16, coach, 16-0, giving up 17 points a game. So that's a concern. Here's my other major concern, and I'll give it to you. I thought, you weren't here Friday, but my analysis of the game was simple. Cowboys have, for what their strengths or weaknesses, an excellent pass rushing defensive front. The Saints have had issues on their offensive line year over year and then injuries in this offseason. I thought the Cowboys would win the game right there. And instead, they had 1 sack and 1 quarterback hit, and the Saints on their first 3 drives had plays of 39, 70, and 57, and scored touchdowns on their first 6 drives of the game, which made it 15 straight drives with Derek Carr to score touchdowns we talked about. So that, to me, it was such a bad defensive performance, you almost throw it out. But I do trust Mike Zimmer. I do trust the talent. So I don't understand how they could play that poorly, not for a drive or 2, but for an entire half.
Well, Derek Carr only threw the ball 16 times, so there weren't a lot of pass rushing opportunities. Then they ran the ball, 39 times? So that was skewed. And what happens early is they hit him with those 2 big, or they hit him with the big plays. So that changes the whole momentum of things. And what's difficult with a new defensive coordinator is as problems come up, there's not a lot of that you can go to the sideline and quickly make adjustments on, because there's nothing to draw from. You can't say, hey, remember 2 years ago when we did this? Remember last year when this problem came up? Everything is new for those guys. So as issues come up on the sideline, it takes longer to get them fixed. Now, this defense should get better, but it's a defense that's, I'm sure, transitioning from a terminology standpoint, from a structure standpoint, obviously from a coaching approach standpoint. And when you get into a fight like this, where suddenly you're taking haymakers, and then you've got to go over and try to settle everybody down, you've got no rapport with the players because only your second game with live bullets with them, and you've got nothing to draw on from past experience that you can quickly adjust to. You're kind of hoping.
But so are you predicting we're going to see more of these? A team gets out early. I mean, that's what happened to the Packers, but that was obviously Dan Quinn. So in a few weeks, if this happens again, it's going to be the same. No, not excuse, explanation.
I would imagine as time goes on and they're building up reps and they're getting used to the communication and all the things that happen when you start working together for a little bit of a period of time, it should be better. But I don't think anybody in that building expected to have what happened happen, especially to have it happen that early, and then there's suddenly you're on the sideline like you're not fixing one problem, you're fixing multiple problems.
I'm the registrar of Broussard University, and I checked this. First F ever for the Cowboys at home in the regular season, given by Chris.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Caleb, this season, pick a good number if you can find one.
I don't know. It looks like if he keeps doubling his pass yards every week, he'll be fine.
Well, yeah, a million by week 11.
Next week he should have 76% completion, 300 yards. What's up?
Are officially panicking?
No. Listen, I'm going to show. Let me say this because I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses. Because Caleb played poorly, and I thought the first game was miserable across the board by Caleb, and his team bailed him out, and he saved him from some criticism because they got the win. This game, the defense, I thought, played really well again. The fact that they had the ball at the end with a chance to win was remarkable, given how bad the offense was. And I believe in Caleb Williams. I still think Caleb Williams is going to be a superstar in this league. It has been a very rough start, obviously. I want to show Coach a tweet from Sam Monson and just get his take on it.
Specific.
Sam used to work for PFF. He now has a podcast called Check the Mic. He said the Bears' offensive line is being wrecked by stunts, the way the Patriots were wrecked by the Wildcat the first time Miami ran it. Only instead of this being the first time they've seen stunts, they've been in every NFL game since like the 1960s. Point being that the Texans were doing very basic things on the line of scrimmage. Very often sending 5, not 6, not these big blitzes, and the Bears couldn't pick him up. He was pressured on more than half of his dropbacks. Caleb did not play well. The scary part for me was it looked like the Bears' offensive line I might have wildly overrated, and they looked to be in major trouble. I don't know. I'm asking you. You tell me. You watched the game. Tell me if you...
I just think it's whatever narrative you want to have. What I'm saying is when you have a rookie quarterback with ridiculous expectations, if he doesn't come out and put up ridiculous numbers, everybody's upset about it, and he hasn't. But this is part of the learning process. Right. Can we just pull up the graphic? Here's where I'd be more concerned. Look at where he compared to Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. He's more in the Bo Nix category than the Jaden Daniels category, and you'd be a lot more encouraged if it was Daniels. And Daniels doesn't have a great
with a win though.
Have a great offensive line.
Nobody has a touchdown.
No, well, Daniels has 2. Rushing.
Oh, rushing. I was going to say.
But I'd say what's more problematic to me with the way that things are going in Chicago is you got 5 false start penalties. You've got a delay game and 2 illegal formations. And that's not all the offensive line. That's the quarterback's cadence. That's the quarterback making sure people are lying correctly. That's the quarterback making sure the clock is set correctly. Those things are a concern for me for a young quarterback. You know, outside of all these sacks, so yeah, it's not USC. These guys are faster, bigger, stronger, and they're going to close quicker.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.